Hi, it's Cassie with Cassy's Parlor, and I'm super excited for this project today. We are going to be using the alphabet die set from the Maker's Movement. Now, it comes all together, right? And you can see the little notches in between. And so if you want to use this, as each individual letter, and you can tell it does have the letter and it has the outline behind it, so that's really nice. So you can do some layering. I really like using alphabet dies like this as one big die because I don't want to manage all the little pieces. You absolutely could. You could put this on a magnetic sheet, and keep the layers together. But I really like the fact that this is already all together for me, because what I like to do is cut this out of different papers, pattern papers, solid colors. Maybe I've made a background with watercolor or something and I want to make some letters out of it. And I cut them out all at once, and maybe I even do multiples, and I have them in like a little container. And then when I need an alphabet or letters to do something, then I've already got them cut and ready to go, and I don't have to mess with die cutting them out in the moment. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to show you that way to use this die. I like to try to use things in a different way than I see normally, and so I'm just going to offer you this different sort of way of using your die set. But you absolutely could, trim all those little connectors and have the dies separate. There's definitely value in doing that as well. I think there's a need for both ways, but because this is already connected, I'm just going to leave it that way and use it and show you the way that I like to use it. So let's move things out of the way. I've got a fun spring thank you card to show you today. I'm going to move everything out of the way, and we're going to bring in our crossover 2. If you've never used a crossover 2, I would recommend going in the history of my YouTube channel and finding the video where I demo that. And I can link that in this video for you so that you can know how to use it. This is a really powerful tool, and it allows you to cut multiple layers and all different sorts of materials in one pass. So that's really nice. Okay, and you don't have to worry about having different sandwiches because I'm just going to show you because I can't help it. It's pretty exciting. So if I tip this sideways here, you can see the rollers, the steel rollers in the opening here, and it gets narrower or wider based on what number you select with this wheel. So again, you can go watch that video, but it's really, really interesting, and this is a really great die cutting product to use. So we only have a limited amount of die cutting to do today. We just have really one pass of this full die set. And I've decided to do it in a pattern paper this time. So I've got this cute polka dot pattern paper. And so I am just going to put this on here. I'm going to center it because another thing that is really cool about cutting it this way as one big piece is that you can get double duty out of it. So I'm centering it on this 6x6 paper pad because then I can use the negative of this later as a background for something else, for another project. So I do like to use my scraps as much as possible and do double duty sort of like that as much as I can. So we're going to cut up into our cutting plate, okay? And I'm just going to adjust. Okay, so now I'm going to take it apart. Oop, and one of my letters flew off on the other side here. So now you can see when I pull this off, I'm just going to flip it over and pull this off here. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Like butter, right? So we've got all of our letters in here now. And look at this fun background you have. You can still tell that it's the letters, and you could use this as a stencil if you wanted. You can use it just as a background and put other things on top of it. This is just a really fun piece now that you have in your stash to use on another project later on. Okay, so now I've got all these letters. I'm going to quickly poke them out, move the machine away, and we will assemble our project. Okay, so now I have all of the letters cut out, and you can see that I ended up cutting the same letters out of this green glitter paper as well. And I just want to show you, okay, so I've made the word thanks here, and what I did, the reason I cut it out of 2 papers is so that I could layer them up. Okay, and look at how adorable that is. I cannot wait to put it on my card. But the thing that I did, so you could take out this middle S, excuse me, from the green layer and just set this in there so it's nice and flat. But I thought it would be really nice to have this just sort of sitting on top and have it layered. So I decided to do that, but there's a lot of ways that you can do this. You could also just use, you know, the S, the solid S or the letters or whatever on their own. Perfect. They're very nice, substantial letters, and they work great on their own. But let me also offer to you that you can use just the shadow. Look at how great that looks. So you have lots of options here if you're going to make words, you know, out of your alphabet set. But let me just also offer to you that these alphabet sets and letters aren't just for making words, for cards or scrapbook pages or whatever you're doing. I often will take some of my leftovers like this. These will go in an envelope or a storage container where I keep a lot of my little bits and pieces for art journaling or card making or whatever I'm doing. And sometimes I really just like to use letters in my background, and I'll put them sideways, upside down, right side up, and not really even spell anything or have anything in particular. And now, just with 2 passes through my machine, I've got all of these extra letters, and I have my thanks really 4 times if I wanted, and you know, with very little effort. So, okay, so now I don't need this other thanks either, so I think I'll put that with the others. And I just want to clear my space so that we can put our project together. So I have this stamp set. This is from Unity Stamp Company. It's called Tuxedo Bunny. Okay, and I just think he's super duper cute. And I want to make just a fun springtime kind of thank you card. So I've got my base and I've got the pattern paper over it, and I have a piece of vellum that I'm going to stamp him on, and we're going to do a little bit of embossing, and then we'll put it all together, and then we'll be done. It's a pretty simple card. I love simple cards when you just, you know, sometimes you need to make something for someone quickly and get it out the door, but you still want it to be cute, right? So that's what we're doing now. So I've got some Wow Embossing ink, and I'm going to ink up my little bunny rabbit holding the flowers. He's so adorable. All right, let me make sure I have this in the right orientation. No, I don't. Okay, so I want this to fit nicely on my top layer. So here we go. We're good to go. And I'm just going to make sure he's relatively centered. I'm not a very particular crafter as far as like having things be exact or precise. That's just not my thing. If it is your thing, absolutely. Do that. You know, you could use your stamp positioner, whatever brand you have. You know, there's lots of ways you can do this, but I just kind of like to go with the flow and free flow and, you know, see what we get. So I'm using some, man, this embossing powder is so gorgeous. It is from Lindy's Stamp Gang, and I just am going to put this on so I can show you. It's called Midnight Teal, but let me show you how it looks. I wonder if you can see. It's hard to see. Oh, too bad. But this is, you're going to see when we emboss it. It's got this really rich, deep teal shimmer kind of glow to it. I don't know how to explain it, but man, it's super pretty. So let's emboss this and then I can show you. So I've got a little excess. I forgot to use my embossing buddy. I highly recommend that. Okay, so now this has been embossed. Now this has, because this embossing powder has like this pearlescent sort of finish on it, it has a little extra hanging out. So I'm just going to wipe it so that my vellum is nice and clean. Oh goodness, let me see if I can show you Look at that shine and that glow on there. Really, really pretty. So I'm super excited about that. Now we need to make this into a sticker so it can stick on my paper. And we know that vellum is tricky, right? Because if you don't do it just right, you're going to see lines, you know, where your glue is. So I really like to use double tack tape from Graphics. And I am going to cut it out right up to the line so that you can't see any of that excess adhesive. It's just going to be completely lined up with this vellum piece. I am going to first stick down this to here, okay? So I'm going to peel off the top layer of my double tack tape. Okay. So you peel off the top layer, and then I'm going to stick down my vellum. You got to be careful, right? So I'm going to line up the edge because this is super sticky. And if it's off a little bit, you can always cut the excess. Okay, and then just stick it down, nice and easy. And then I'm going to peel off the back. Okay, and now our vellum is a beautiful sticker, so that's exciting. All right, so then I'm going to decide, okay, I want my thanks. I'm just going to put a letter down here so I can see how tall it is, kind of where I want to place my bunny on top of it. I think in the upper 2/3 will be nice. So I'm just going to line up those edges and stick it down. And I love vellum because you can still see the pattern underneath, but it's a slightly muted. Can you tell? It's just so pretty and delicate, especially for this particular project. I think it works nicely. Okay, so then I'm going to stick down my letters, but first we've got to stick the letters to each other, right? Because we've got 2 layers. So what I'm going to do, so I'm going to use my Barely Art glue. And I'm just doing a very thin layer, hopefully. Here we go. Okay, and I'm going to stick each letter down to its base. I'm going to take each letter off individually. And now I'm putting glue over the whole back because I want to make sure that whole thing sticks down really well. Okay. And then we're just going to do this for each letter. Okay, now all of those letters are stuck down. Look at how cute that sentiment is on this card front. All right, just a couple more finishing touches and we will be all done. I really like this twine that I have here. It's kind of like a coral color. I'm going to wrap this around a couple times just to give it a little bit more detail. And then we will stick it to our base. So I like to do 3 times a bit. Here we go. I love these spring colors here. You know, I really think the finishing touches are what make a card. You know, adding a little bit of fiber, ribbon, twine, whatever, or tulle would be really cool here. You know, maybe a button or a brad or you know, a jewel or something like that. Anything like that just helps to finish off the card, make it super cute. Okay, so there we've got a fiber here. Looks pretty cute. I love that. All right, so then we're going to stick this to our card base. And for this, I really like to use just double stick tape. It's nice and easy. Okay, and before I peel that backing off, I remembered that I really wanted to put some of this on the edges just to kind of soften the edges a little bit and finish it even just a little bit more. This is a matte chalk polish, okay, and the color name is Custard. And this is from Cosmic Shimmer. Okay, so the way that you use this, it's really cool because it has a built-in foam pad in the lid, so that's nice. So you have your own foam pad for every single color, and then you've just got your wax in here. So you just need a tiny little bit. Pick it up with your pad, and then I'm just going to kind of go around the edges. It's even hitting the vellum a little bit, and that's okay. I just want to soften the edge of this, and I can even move it with my finger Okay, and it dries pretty quickly. So this is just adding a little bit of a nice touch to the edge. And I'm going over my fibers even. I don't mind that. I think that looks nice. Helps to wear it a little bit and give it a nice finish. Okay, I'm just going right around the edges. There we go. Look at that. Ooh, I really like the way that looks. Okay, so now I've got to clean up my mess here. All right, so now I'm ready to stick this onto my base. So I'm just going to peel back the adhesive and we're going to put this on here, get it centered. I am loving this card. Okay, now I have my card base. I've got a craft base here. Super cute. Going to do the same thing with my double stick adhesive. Okay, and when I do this, generally I stand my card up and line it up with the bottom and the corners, and then just kind of let it fall into place and then stick it down, and that lines it up really well most of the time. So look at this. Isn't this just the most darling little thing? I love it so much. I do have some jewels here, and I think I might like to add one or two. These are from Spellbinders. They're in their spring collection. And I think the colors just match so nicely. What if we did even a yellow, you know, the fibers, and have them sort of intermingled in there, I think. And doing all yellow. Just going to keep it nice and simple, but I think that would look nice. Okay, what about if I do it right here? Oh, that's so cute. Okay, we are done. Here is the final card. Got some bling on there, have some jewels and some glitter. I have that really awesome embossing powder on there. And look at how great that sentiment looks with this project. I really couldn't have got it any other way than with this awesome alphabet die set. And I just love the way that it layers. And yeah, I love that you can cut them out all at the same time. This was a really fun project. I hope that you had some fun and you found some inspiration. If you're interested, please subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up and maybe hit the bell so you don't miss future videos. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.